So, okay, we're sitting here with Drew Nolosco from Wizards of the Coast. We're going to talk about the long-awaited Transformers card game that we've been hearing about for a while, and now we get to see it and play it firsthand. Drew, what can you tell us about this game?
Hi, Greg. I am the brand manager for the Transformers trading card game at Wizards of the Coast. I'm really, really happy I got a chance to talk to everybody at Allspark. Hey, everybody. So, probably the most important thing to know about the Transformers trading card game is every single Transformers character card is this big. So, for reference, this is a standard size card, also from the Transformers trading card game. But all the character cards are this big. And they all convert from bot to alt mode and back, and every single character card is a foil on their bot mode, whether it's a common card like this Hound, or whether it's a super rare like Nemesis Prime. So I think that's visually one of the most distinctive things about this game.
Yeah, I don't know if you can pick that up. For everybody watching, there's a holographic foil on there, and it definitely distinguishes the card. It also helps against counterfeiting.
And it really lets us have some of the special effects in the art pop.
Yeah.
So you're probably wondering, which characters are we going to include in a Transformers trading card game?
Right.
So this is we're pulling from the Generations line. So all of the art and all of the characters we're including are the Generations version. And I bet a lot of you can actually figure out which toy version of Hound this card Autobot Hound is based on.
I'm sure most of us probably have it.
Funny, I still have my G1 Hound. He was the second what we call the Micromasters now, but the second non-small line Transformers character that I purchased with my own money.
So you've been a Transformers fan for life, just like anybody else.
Yeah, I was a youngster when G1 first came out, and I mowed lawns, and I spent my lawn mowing profit on. I had just enough to get one of the small size, like the G1 Bumblebee size, and I distinctly remember there was a point where I realized that if I didn't just go buy one of those and saved a few weeks, I could get one of the larger ones for a long time. We actually work super close with the folks back at Hasbro. I talk to Matt Clark and Chris Nadeau regularly, and that level of trust and cooperation between Wizards and Hasbro has really allowed us to make a Transformers game that feels authentic.
And this is something that people have been wanting for a lot of years. Yeah. So it's glad to see that it's finally on the table.
Thank you.
And of course, you guys, as many have said, you're the forefathers of the trading card games with Magic the Gathering. That was what started it all.
Yep, and I'm actually going to plug my friends over in the Magic the Gathering department. At this GenCon, we are celebrating the 25th anniversary of the release of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, and there's a lot of kids just I see them picking up those decks and their eyes grow big, and it's the next generation, and we love to see that as well. Just as us old fogies, it's not just for us, as they say. And seeing the next generation come up and learn the game and have hands on the game, I think what you guys are doing out here today are great, both for Magic and the Transformers card games.
I appreciate that, Greg. I actually want to talk about that for a second. So, we developed a game design philosophy for this game that the game system, the core rules, the structure of the turn is very easy to grok. And we did that specifically so that youngsters, the generation that we are raising, the new generation of Transformers fans, could pick up that game. And we layered in all of the game complexity into the card mechanics and the interactions between the cards. So we did that specifically so that youngsters could grok the game, and that we could have an intergenerational play experience where parents who grew up with Transformers and are raising young Transformers fans can play together, and they can both have a good Transformers experience face-to-face at the table. Raising youngsters who are gamers is super important to me personally. I have a background in kids games, I have a background in licensed games. This Transformers game, although Wizards is Hasbro, right? So it's not a licensed game, but it's a similar idea, is super important to me. And I have two messages to all the fans. Raise the next generation of gamers and make sure that they play Decepticons. And it's more fun to share your passion, your hobby, with other people, right? And if those other people are your youngsters or people like like we were talking when we were walking over here, how this convention is, you meet so many people and share your love of gaming, your love of the brands that the games encompass, and you meet new people and love discovering new things. And that is why tabletop gaming is so strong. It's because that face-to-face experience where you sit down together and have whether it's a family experience or a friend experience or a community experience, is what makes tabletop gaming so successful, even in an age where digital communication and digital gaming is awesome. Like, there's always going to be a need for people sitting down together.
Absolutely. So if you're ready, we can get into the game. You can kind of give us an idea of, because even just coming into it, I didn't know that there were these big character cards. So it looks very different than the type of play Magic is. And it looks like it is definitely it's not just a clone, it's tailored for Transformers.
Correct. We specifically designed a new game system just for Transformers, specifically to take advantage of the converting from one mode to another. And that is a core thing about this game. Just really quickly, every character has attack, defense, and health. Health is the same from mode to mode. So this Megatron Decepticon leader has 12 health on each mode, but attack and defense may differ from mode to mode. That's not true of all characters, but it's true of many characters. And an important part of this game is being in the right mode at the right time.
So there is some strategy in it.
There's a lot. Even though the game system is designed to be grokkable for youngsters, the tactical implications of the game rules actually get kind of sophisticated, and we've layered in a lot of that complexity into the card mechanics themselves.
So we've got the character cards, and then what are the other cards that we have?
So this card is a standard size card. I'm just going to size comparison.
So it's about half the size.
That's correct. And this is called the battle card. In addition to building a team of Transformers characters, and you do that by building 25 stars or less of characters, you also build a deck of 40 battle cards. Now these battle cards come in two types. This card, Dino Chomp, this is an action card. Action cards are special attacks, special tactics, and then there's also upgrades. Upgrades are armor, weapons, and utilities, and they attach to Transformers characters to power them up.
Okay. So when you're playing, it's a two-player game, a four-player game?
This game is designed for two-player play.
Okay.
So each player has that team of 25 stars or fewer Transformers characters.
So they could end up with like two really big powerhouse characters, or maybe 15 little small guys.
Exactly. One of the most interesting two-player character teams in the game is one of the versions of Optimus Prime and Nemesis Prime, and together they are just about a 25-point team, and they work really well together. On the other hand, you could, for example, play the Insecticons, and there, because they are individually weaker characters, and lower stars, you can play 4 or 5, depending on which ones you choose.
So when you buy these cards in a pack, are they randomly assorted? Are they built as a particular deck?
Sure are. So this is a booster pack. Just for size reference, the booster packs are really big because the cards are really big, and you get 1 random character card and 7 random battle cards in this. Booster packs are coming out September 28th in the United States, a little bit later in certain other markets around the world, and they are $3.99.
Okay. So when you've got your characters and you're building them, and this is probably maybe something just tailored to the play style or house rules, but what is the official rule set if you've got 2 duplicate Optimus Primes, or
That's an awesome question. So I'm going to pull up this Megatron. He's a good example.
Okay.
This is Megatron Decepticon Leader. There are other versions of Megatron, and I'll get into why we did that. But you could play, for example, this Megatron Decepticon Leader and Megatron Living Weapon, which is another version of Megatron, together on the same team.
Okay.
You couldn't play 2 copies of Megatron Decepticon Leader on the same team.
Okay, so you've got kind of a multi-universe thing going on too, which is you can bring different characters in, which leaves room also for additional expansion packs later on down the road.
It sure does. So we're using the Generations line as our baseline for this game. All of the art is Generations art, and it comes from a number of different sources. And the character versions are the Generations versions of the characters. And that encompasses a number of different sublines, but that's the evergreen line of Transformers, and it brings in the widest variety of characters. And we picked that intentionally, both because the art style is fantastic, and also because we had that depth of character roster that we really need for a trading card game.
So when you're playing this game head-to-head, what is your goal? What is it? Resource-based? Is it point-based?
No, this is an action battler. Remember that health value I was talking about? When a character takes that much damage, it's KO'd. The object of the game is to KO all of the characters on your opposing team.
So this is straight battle warfare.
That's correct. There's no resources.
Okay.
In this game, on your turn, you must draw a card at the beginning of the game, and you must make an attack at the draw a card at the beginning of the turn, and you must make an attack at the end of the turn. And in the middle, you can play one action card, play one upgrade, and convert one of your characters. And you can do those 3 things in any order you want. The starter deck contains 4 characters unique to the starter deck. It contains Optimus Prime, Ironhide, Red Alert, and Bumblebee. And those Bumblebee and Optimus versions are unique to the starter deck. There are other versions of both of them in the booster packs. It also contains a deck of 40 battle cards and some damage counters, and that's $14.99. The booster pack, 1 battle card, 7 battle cards, 1 character card. This is $3.99 in the US, and both of these are releasing in the US on September 28th.
Okay, so September 20th. So these are, if you're at Gen Con now, you can get a hands-on experience of these for the first time. And then in
September 28th.
September 28th, they're going to be available. What kind of stores are you going to find these in?
Wherever you can find Magic the Gathering products, anything from Wizards. So mass market stores, local game stores, both.
That's great. And just out of curiosity, Red Alert seems like an odd choice for one of the iconic starter characters. Is there any particular reason why he was chosen?
Yes. Okay, so yes, and also he turns into a fire department car, which is kind of cool if you're a youngster.
Obviously, there's nothing wrong with him there. He's just not one of the characters that the Transformers lore has these expectations year after year. So it's actually kind of refreshing to see not the usual stale cast. And I didn't know if you had any particular attachment to Red Alert, or if there was just something other than the fact that he's a fire chief.
So Fire Chief is a big part of it. Also, he is a cool character we needed an Autobot car, of which there are many, but he's a cool character that we thought starter deck is a little bit more aimed at youngsters. We thought they would resonate with a youngster. Because
if you're real young, he's a helper.
Yep.
And he's fast here. Well, I do appreciate you taking the time to sit down and talk to us about this.
Yeah.
And anything you want to add, we can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I want to show off some of the cards, man.
Okay, let's look at let's see what we got here.
So, as you might expect, we have folks like Megatron and the Dinobots and the Insecticons, right? Those are extraordinarily popular Transformers characters. But one of the strengths of doing a trading card game is that we can print a lot of characters. So we're also including characters that may be a little bit more obscure.
Oh, and then you're gonna hit on some of the fan favorites that the kids will enjoy, but the adult collectors will reminisce of.
Exactly. So Flame War, as your fans of Allspark know, Flame War is probably the oldest living Decepticon. She's certainly the most experienced Decepticon warrior. Some legends say that she was a Decepticon even before Megatron was the official leader of the Decepticons. So we've taken that aspect of her, that she's a veteran Decepticon, and we've given her an ability that boosts her teammates to represent the fact that her experience, she passes that on to other younger Decepticons.
So in addition to the power-up cards, some of these have specific abilities that go along with, like Slug. I don't know what he has. He doesn't look like he has anything.
So Slug's power is in his raw stats. Remember we were talking about attack and defense?
Yes.
The Dinobots generally have this pattern. They have somewhat balanced attack and defense in Dino mode. In Robot mode, they go all out on attack. Slug is interesting because he has 3 defense, which is actually pretty decent for a Transformers character. A lot of characters that usually takes like a leader.
Yeah, I mean, even Megatron only has a 3, so and then she has a 1 over here on Flame War. And I noticed that this is where you get some of them have the bonus attack, or the bonus capabilities that you were mentioning.
So I wanted to show you, so all the cards that we've looked at so far are common cards from the booster pack. I want to show you some not common cards. So I have 2 Dinobots to show you. Here's Dinobot Sludge and Dinobot Snarl. These are higher rarity cards found in the booster pack.
Just to get the,
absolutely.
just to get the glare off. So yeah. So and then they have the abilities and the special traits.
That's correct. And Sludge, for example, specifically says that he wants to be played with other Dinobots on your team. His ability is he can take the damage that's on other Dinobot characters and move it to himself. And then when he flips into bot mode, he can start. When he's in a bot mode and one of your Dinobots attack, he can start throwing that damage at the enemy team.
And then Snarl.
Snarl is super interesting, and he plays really well with this. So I'm going to show you this battle card first. So Dino Chomp is a battle card. It's an action, so you play it and does what it says. Scrapping your hand means you have to discard everything in your hands. But he greatly enhances your attack, a Dinobot's attack. When Snarl flips back into alt mode, if you don't have any cards in your hands, he draws you cards. So these two cards are designed to play with one another in the same deck. You use this to power up a Dinobot and do a big all-out attack, and then you convert Dinobot Snarl back into his Dino mode, and since your hand is empty because you scrapped your hand with this card, he lets you draw some cards.
So their strategy is almost paramount if you really want to get good at this.
That is absolutely the truth.
Well, that's very interesting. So do you have any other of these type of cards?
I do not. Oh, I do have one. Look up. So let's grab some Insecticons.
Okay.
Okay. There is Bombshell.
He's tough. If you said 3 was
so when he's in Beetle mode, so defense doesn't just mean physically tough. It can also represent other ways that it is difficult for that character to be damaged. So Mirage, for example, actually has decent defense, and it's not because he's physically tough. It's because he is stealthy.
He can hide and
exactly. So here's Barrage.
And it's nice that it has a reminder here to tell you what you can expect, so you don't have to constantly flip it over to double check what you have when you're trying to learn. He says what his bot mode has, so that when you flip it over, that information's here. Exactly.
That's correct. So here's a battle card called Swarm. You want to play this card specifically in an Insecticon deck. And so take a look at that top portion right there. All of the battle cards have it. There are 3 possible colored symbols here.
Okay.
The attack color, the defense color, and then a white symbol, which is a critical hit, which I don't have to show you. So this card, when you play it, it asks you, check how many Insecticons you started the game with, then start revealing cards off the top of your deck equal to that number, and it does stuff based on what colors you reveal.
Okay.
So the Insecticons want to play a team that has a lot of Insecticons on them. They're almost always under 10 points. I think they're all under 10 stars.
And let's clarify these star settings again. And we know that there's, you said 25?
So you can play up to 25 stars on your team.
And then so this is 2 divisions of stars. What do those represent?
That's just 8 stars. So these stars they represent how much the character costs when you're building your team. That's the time when they matter the most. You can build a team of up to 25 stars worth of Transformers. So for example, these 3 Dinobots together add up to 7, 15, 24. And that's a pretty good sized team.
So it doesn't have to be 25 every time.
No, it's up to 25. There are some reasons why, based on the specific characters you might want to include for other reasons, that 24 or 25 is usually where you want to be.
So if you're a home player and you want to escalate this battle a little bit and say you want to go up to 30 stars or 50, is the game designed to accommodate that? Is that going to break it? Is that going to...
So I will say, as a lover of home game rules in my personal gaming, if that's what you want to do, go for it. I will also say that this game is tuned and tested for 25-star teams. And especially there are some upcoming things, some upcoming characters that really aren't going to play well unless they're part of a 25-star game.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. Now there's one more thing. I guess we want to know, what is the general time frame? How fast is the game play?
The game. So if you know how to play, so you've gotten a few games in and you're familiar with it, 10, 15 minutes. The game can play very fast. I mean, you can go into tank and think about it if you need to, but in general, 10-15 minutes. So a lot of fans have been asking about how can they protect their cards, especially the oversized cards. And the fine folks at Ultra Pro said it's okay for me to talk about that they are producing oversized, double-sided, clear sleeves so that you can store and protect your oversized cards.
And it's completely unique to this game, since this is the only game that really has those specific cards.
The double-sided clear is super useful for this Transformers trading card game because of the double-sided nature.
Yeah. As opposed to a lot of the Magic sleeves that have the colored back.
Exactly.
So that's pretty handy. Yeah, I'll let everybody know those are going to be available, and they can get those online at Ultra Pro,
or
they can pick them up
anywhere
there.
Ultra Pro accessories are sold.
So anywhere you can get the cards, you can get the
Probably.
sleeves for the most part.
Yeah.
Game stores, things like that. Okay, well, thanks. I'll let everybody know about that.
Cool.
Well, I appreciate you sitting down and talking with us. You got a lot of information here, and I think a lot of people are looking forward to this game. I know I'm going to pick up my copy today.
Awesome. I am super happy with the enthusiasm that all the fans have given us. Transformers fans, card gamers, youngsters. The reaction to this game has been phenomenal, and I sincerely thank you all for how enthusiastic you've been. It means a lot to us at the Transformers team.